Alright, and next up is Annah Noyes. No, Annah Noyes.
Hello everybody, how are you? So like she said, my name is Annah Noyes and I am with an organization called Noyes Counseling Center. I'm the Chief Operating Officer over there, and we do things a little differently than some of the things that we've kind of been discussing today. And so I'm so excited to be here. This is our first time being at this conference, and we're so excited to see how we can partner together with a bunch of you guys around Florida. I'm just going to dive right into it and explain a dream that was brought to fruition just a little over a year ago. So, small rural community in Florida. Who all is here in Florida? Who lives in Florida? So, everybody. Love that. Almost everybody. Small rural community in Florida. One of the smallest counties. Literally only known for its crops, cattle, and beautiful crystal clear springs. That's about it. But when you look a little deeper, when you look a little bit past the crops and the cattle, is a demographic of people who are hurting. This specific community is about an hour from the closest metropolis with mental health care and social services. So these are people who are incredibly isolated, and this beautiful, small, Bible Belt, rural community, Southern Belle place, it's also my hometown. So this is my hometown of Trenton, not New Jersey, Florida. If you know where the University of Florida is, we're about 30 miles west of there, in Gilchrist County. And we, as Noyes, I've grown up there, and that's where I'm established, but Gilchrist, Levy, and Dixie is our stomping grounds. So, a year ago, a dream that, like I had said, that had been years in the planning, came to fruition. So I'm going to get to kind of explain a little bit of why. So first, it all started with the loss of a 20-year-old to suicide, which is part of the reason why we're here. A 20-year-old in our area committed suicide, and it left his family in shambles, as it always does. And our executive director, Mary Newton, who is right over there, she was counseling with this boy's family. Long story short, this is where we realized that a service was needed in our area. Thus, that's where we came in. So, today, I'm going to be explaining what Noyes is, why we do what we do, who we are, and what we do differently, but also what we do similarly to every single nonprofit that works in the field of mental health. So, to begin with, Noyes is a 501c3 nonprofit faith-based organization. Our mission is simply to bring hope and healing to our local community and beyond through professional, evidence-based care and counseling. and care that is rooted in biblical principles. So both sides, evidence-based, but also biblical principles. We offer everything from grief counseling to offering support for depression and anxiety in children or teenagers, marriage counseling, premarital counseling, family counseling, you name it, we've seen it. And we may be faith-based, but we're not inclusive. We are much different than what you see in everyday society. And the big thing that really surprises people, we do not charge for any of our services at all. You did hear that correctly. No price tag at all. So a year ago, we were charging on a sliding scale basis. And we quickly were reminded of one of the simple foundations of our organization, that we believe that salvation is free. Thus, our services are free. The grace of God's free, so we're going to spread His services for free. So, when people hear about us, especially when I say we don't charge, I am greeted with one of three reactions. The first reaction is, oh my gosh, I've been looking for you for years. Faith is a big part of my life. I'm so excited there's a Christian counselor in our area. The second reaction, skepticism. Because are you guys even qualified? Who are you to be working in the field of mental health? Do you know what you're doing? Are you just going to mess up my kid worse? Counselors have hurt me in the past. How are you any different? Or number three, aversion. Why bring religion into something that already works? Why bring something new into the field of psychology when there's something already there? Those are the three reactions. And honestly, from my perspective, all three of those are valid. But I hope that today I'm able to alleviate the ideas in your head when it comes to faith-based programs, organizations, and counseling, that your reaction can be just excitement, and we can get rid of the aversion and skepticism. Because at the end of the day, I do not want to show you guys a replacement for secular counseling, but simply a new way to counsel. Because I believe that together, we can all make a difference in the world of mental health. A lot of times people hear that we are faith-based and they think that we are inclusive. No. I personally am a psychology nerd. My degrees are in psychology. Our counselors are all incredibly educated and psych nerds. We love the realm of secular counseling, but we see the beauty in faith-based. So instead of putting up walls, we're just wanting to do things together. And so that's the big thing, is that if we can all work together, faith and secular, we can make a difference that I think could change the world. Which part of that is because our counselors, all of them are either already working with the state or they just haven't chosen to test. They are MSWs, they are licensed clinicians. All of our counselors do go through the National Christian Counselors Association, and they're actually licensed clinical pastoral counselors and ordained ministers. But almost all of them are, like we have one who is a chaplain at local hospitals. I don't even know how many degrees he has. Others, they work in our schools. They work in private practice locally. They're incredibly educated counselors who just don't want to work under the state. They want to work under that evangelical model instead of the government and state things. So first, I want to show that when you put what we all love, psychology, and faith together, we see some really, really cool stuff. So first, our data actually shows that faith-based counseling is monumentally more effective than secular counseling. It's pretty insane. When you look at secular counseling, obviously there are so many constructs and issues that can affect the way somebody says it was successful or not. No matter where you go, you're going to find data that says that secular counseling is somewhere in the realm of 8% success and 74% success. Those are numbers from everywhere. I don't even know how many research articles I've read in the last couple weeks. 8% to 70%. Which is a pretty big gap. Where's the research? Where are we missing the mark there? But under the NCCA, the National Christian Counselors Association, which is what we work under with their specific therapy counseling technique called temperament therapy, which I'd love to explain to you separately. They consistently and everywhere, regardless of demographic, regardless of age, regardless of area. I do believe it's only really practiced in the US right now, I believe. It's not international yet. But across the US, this type of therapy is 93% success rates across the board, which is insane to think about. And people will be like, are you sure about that? That's what their data is real. Their data is real. And I, to be honest, last year was like, I don't know that I believe those numbers. I'm a psych major. You don't see 90% success in counseling. That's not how that works. Until we successfully finished our first year as a nonprofit counseling center in our area. So we just celebrated 1 year. We opened January 1st. We served 189 cases last year. Some of these cases were families or sibling groups or marriages. So that number's roughly around 260 individuals in our small little area, which is amazing. Last year, as of December 31st, we had 66 successful case discharges, meaning those clients had been discharged by their counselor and were healthy and stable again. 66, which is amazing to me. 66, that includes marriages restored, that includes mother-daughter relationships resolved, that includes teenagers breaking out of the barrier of social anxiety and thriving in school, all sorts of crazy success stories. So, what's crazy, and I want to read this, I'll make sure that I get it all right. Our numbers show, and I'm a data girl, so our numbers show that last year, when a client met with their counselor for the first time, 95% of them, 95, will go on to receive 6 to 15 counseling sessions. This was last year. So 95% of every single person who met a counselor face-to-face last year at our center went on to receive just about a full treatment plan. And of those 90%, the 95% who continued with treatment last year, 100% of them were discharged successfully. 100%. And I know that sounds like you've got to be joking with me, but I'm not, and I'm not playing numbers. 100% of our clients that went through treatment last year were successfully discharged. A few of them might still be seeing our counselors because they love them, but they have been successfully discharged and released back into the wild because they're healthy and stable again. So, all of this to say, I'm passionate about Noyes, as you can probably tell, because I have seen the success of it. I have seen the success rates. I have run the numbers. But if you asked any of our team this question, their answer to this success would be by the grace of God. But for the success and to share our story better with you guys, I'm going to give some real reasons based past a work of God, okay? So these are real reasons as to how we differ from secular counseling, but also how we're the same. So before I even look at the differences between faith-based counseling and secular counseling, it is really, really, really important to look at the similarities because we are so similar to secular counseling. So number one, our goal is exactly the same. Our goal is to get our clients healthy. Our goal is not to get our client to a church. Our goal is not to have them baptized or do some crazy ritual to transition to a different religion. No, Our goal is exactly yours, to save lives from suicide, to restore families, and to see mental health thrive in individuals. That is our goal. It's not anything different than what any of you guys are wanting to do in your field. Number 2, our psychological techniques. A lot of the modalities, techniques, and things that our counselors use are exactly what you'll get in a secular counseling firm. They're going to be using things like CBT. They're going to be using things like play and art therapy, PHQs, all the questionnaires, you name it. If you get it at a secular counseling office, you're going to get it at Noyes, because that's how we are. We're all very, very educated, and we use all the techniques because at the end of the day, they work. They work. So we use them just like secular counselors. Third, our education. Our education is incredibly important to us at Noyes, for our counselors, and for any volunteers that walk through our door. A common misconception with faith-based counseling is that Christian counselors are just Christians who counsel. And at Noyes, that is completely separate. At Noyes, our counselors are counselors who just happen to want to work at Noyes instead of in the secular world. Our counselors read their Bibles, okay, but they also have read a lot of textbooks. They know the knowledge, they know the things. Number 4, the other common misconception is that the professionalism will be lacking. This could not be more true of us. Anything that you would get at a doctor's office, we're going to take care of. Information that happens that comes through Noyes is professional. The level of confidentiality, HIPAA codes, all of the things, it's just like a doctor's office. That's what I tell our clients. It's just like a doctor's office. We just do things a little different. And number 5, medical care. While we're not in the secular realm of counseling, we 100% are humble enough to realize that if there's a case that needs medical care, medical treatment, or med management, we're not gonna keep them in our office. No, we're gonna get them the help that they deserve, because that's what we wanna do. We wanna make sure that every aspect of someone's life is getting taken care of. And so the things that make us different, number 1, conflicts of interest. In the world of secular counseling, a counselor could not communicate with the parent of a teenager at all. So let's say this is one area where you kind of got to bend the rules to see success with clients. If our counselor talks with a teenager and says, hey, if you're feeling like you're going to yell at your mom, I want you to calm down and go to your room, sit on the floor for a few minutes, do some grounding techniques. But then that parent gets mad because they're like, they walk to their room. Where would the success be if there's no connection between the counselor and the client and the counselor and the parental family? There's so many different areas of that, but I won't go into all of them. Number 2, the whole health model. Like I said with medications, we're going to take care of you in every single aspect, because at the end of the day, just like most of psychology and the field of mental health, we're looking for whole health. We're not just looking for spiritual health or numbers like so many churches. No, we're looking for whole health. Every aspect of your life, we're just looking to be healthy. Number 3, resources. This is my favorite thing. Currently, we are a nonprofit counseling center, but we're also raising a hog for the county fair. Yes, you heard me correct. Her name is Betty. We had a client in a horrible relationship and mama of 2 boys, and she left the abusive situation and then came to us and she's like, guys, I did it, I'm thriving, but I'm getting food on the table and I'm paying the bills. But my middle schooler's dream is to have a pig in the fair. And I can't afford to do that. Because we're not a secular counselor, we're allowed to do that. So we have been paying for this pig, and in a month from now, this pig will be in the ring with that teenager. And not only were we able to help this client get through some extreme anxiety and trauma and PTSD and therapy for the things that she was going through, but we've also taken care of her family. So really, really cool. Number 4, like I said earlier, we do not charge for any of our services. We're 100% donation based. So what this means is we need help from organizations, grants, our local churches, and individuals, because in living in a rural area of Florida, we realize there are a lot of people who aren't receiving mental health care, not because they don't want to heal, not because they don't want change, but because they can't financially afford it. And that should never, ever be a barrier between somebody getting the health and care that they deserve. And number 5, I know the stigma and concerns around the church. I do, trust me. And the reaction of aversion is not something that I'm ever surprised by, because I know that people are not the greatest. We're humans. And it breaks our heart when we come in contact with people who have been hurt by the church in the past. But we personally believe that the church should look like Jesus. Loving, accepting, and supportive, and healing, and beauty. Not painfulness and barriers. And so we're not like a crazy bunch of zealous religious people. We're just a bunch of people crazy for the Lord who want to care and love for people. And I think that's the most important thing that's different about us and secular counseling. So why choose faith-based counseling anyways then, right? It's because I believe it's more successful for the right client, for a client who wants that. It is 100% more successful. It takes in all the different aspects. And when we can put those things all together, we can put the MSWs in, we can take the doctorate students in, and they can counsel with the faith-based arm ready to go. I think we can see a huge change in the world of mental health, and we're seeing it in our community. So, I'm going to say it again, together, both of us, faith-based and secular, can make a huge difference in the world of mental health. So how are you going to make a difference? Are you going to put up walls, or are you just going to walk together? Our executive director loves to say, we're going to link arms. Because when we're linking arms, we're all at the same level. And so that's who we are, and that's what we do. I thank y'all for your time and for listening. I would love to chat with you guys during networking. So if y'all want to meet with us outside, I'll answer any questions you have. We're an open book. I would love to chat and see how we can get connected and what we can do to make a difference in the world of mental health and to see more lives saved from suicide as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And like I said, we'll be outside.
About maybe some skepticism, and I just really like, God bless you guys. I think it's amazing, and I will take back to Texas because that's where I came from, that salvation is free and our services should be too. So thank you so much for that. I couldn't let the moment pass because publicly it's hard to do that, and it takes a lot of courage. So thank you. Thank you so very much.
I appreciate that.
he's got it. I'm like, my boss, he owns a cattle of 1,000 hills and he's taking care of us. Yes.
I started off with between 10 and 17 years old. Also some mental and substance abuse. And